Hey guys, I am Kate with TypeMatch, and today I want to dispel one of the biggest arguments that I see out there in regards to why MBTI, Myers-Briggs, is total BS. Okay, so being in the line of work I am with TypeMatch, I have heard every argument against MBTI that there is. And I don't really argue with people about it anymore because it's pretty boring to argue when you already know everybody's arguments. And yeah, it just becomes awfully repetitive. By the way, if you hear in the background, my puppy is awake today and she's kind of running around and playing at my feet. So that's what that racket will be in the background. But anyway, so let's go over the number one argument that I hear against MBTI. So the main one that I hear is that you can't put people in a box of extremes, basically. That most people are not an extrovert or an introvert. There it is a scale, and most people are falling in the middle. So that is 100% true, okay? In terms of extroversion and introversion on the Big Five personality scale, like 80% of us or so are falling in the middle, with only a few on the extreme ends. And then we have something in the very middle that people are calling ambivert. And they're saying that MBTI is faulty for not accounting for most people falling like in the middle here. Now, like I said, they're 100% correct on this. All right, but you can have a correct argument, but an incorrect conclusion. And the thing is that here I end up sounding a lot like Eddie Bravo, because I'm like, you just haven't looked into it enough, because they haven't. There's not enough. They haven't done enough research into like what typology is actually saying. So in MBTI, we really should get rid of the E and I in terms of extrovert versus introvert, and think of it more as external versus internal in terms of our focus, okay? Whether that is external perceptions versus internal perceptions, and external judgments versus internal judgment processes. And the thing is, in MBTI, we account for all of this because, yes, there are 16 personality types, but more importantly, there are 8 cognitive functions which make up those types. And those are extroverted and introverted sensing. So it'll have an S with a designation of either E or I. Okay, but we could think of that as external sensing versus internal sensing, because we're using our new terms. And then we have intuition, whether extroverted or introverted, feeling, whether extroverted or introverted, and thinking, whether extroverted or introverted. So since we all have all 8 of these functions, nobody is truly a thinker or a feeler. They just have a preference for thinking over feeling, or feeling over thinking, depending on where it falls in their cognitive stack. So the cognitive stack is the order in which these cognitive functions fall within your mind. And the order determines what role they are playing within your mind. So let's take an INFP, for example. I'm going to use a different color. An INFP, their cognitive function stack is FI, introverted feeling, NE, extroverted intuition, SI, introverted feeling, TE, extroverted thinking. And that brings us down to their shadow, where it's the same but flipped in terms of extroversion or introversion. And we get extroverted feeling, introverted intuition, extroverted sensing, and introverted thinking. Okay, so you see, INFP has all 8 of them. What determines whether they are an introvert or an extrovert is all about whether this first primary dominant hero function, okay, it has a lot of different names, has an I or an E next to it, meaning that their primary focus is either internal or external. The number one function. So because their primary function is of internal feeling, that is why they are given the designation of I, introvert. Then they have intuition over their sensing, so they're given the designation of N rather than an S. Their feeling is above their thinking, so they are given F instead of P. And this is where it gets complicated. Their first perceiving function, which N and S are perceiving functions, whereas these F and T are judging functions. Their first perceiving function is an extroverted external function, so they are a P rather than a J. So really, this is all kind of nonsense. This code is like, really, you should think about this code is there to help you figure out like where like their cognitive functions stack and what they're prioritizing in terms of information and then making judgments based on that information. Sorry, she's playing with her favorite toy, which is a cardboard box. She does have other toys. Anyway, this has nothing to do with how outgoing or antisocial this person is. It just means that like their first process is going to be an internal one, which can make them seem slower to like respond to the external world, or no, more reluctant to respond to the external world. Okay, sorry about that. So really, like, if you understand the fact that we have all 8 cognitive functions and we are not one or the other, then you've really destroyed this argument, because we are not saying that, okay? You're right, but that's not what we're saying with MBTI. So I hope this helps you guys with somebody in your life that you're trying to argue the merits of Myers-Briggs with. Truly, this falls under the realm of typology rather than MBTI, but we can get to that on a later date. I will be making more of these types of videos because there are a lot of arguments that I would like to dispel against MBTI. So please subscribe to get notifications for more of these videos, and check out the TypeMatch app, which is a dating and friendship app that matches you based on your personality type. Thanks.